Why don't you just because I think I can see you in the mirror.
Okay, no, it's
Thank you.
it's fine.
Yeah.
This is easy. I've got no problem.
Hard to get a good.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, right down there. That's fine.
Hi, can you send me, have you got any questions that you...
It is getting smaller and
think
smaller
that-
nowadays, aren't they?
Oh, can you resend them to me? Thanks. Bye. Sorry, I've got the producer who is well across this story. He should have done the interview. But, anyway, we'll go with what we've got. We've got 3 camera angles. Fantastic.
It is, right?
Yeah,
You
it's
wanna
very
get comfy?
clever. Yeah, I'm comfy. Okay. Yeah, I'm good.
Would it be okay if we just close the door because then they can talk on the phone?
How long is this seminar going for today? What time does it
Just so we close the...
finish up?
But again, I might move you over there just because also I can see you in the mirror. Yeah, thanks. Or if you squat down there, you go. It's okay.
My first question when we get started is what is theatre healing and how does it work? Pretty standard stuff. So we'll get...
Can I just fix up the strap, please, on the other side?
You guys are so cute.
This one.
I don't think it's a big deal.
No, I know.
That's always good to look your best though. Right, so everyone's phones are on silent. It's not going to ring during the interview, is it?
Yep, no, pretty good there.
Okay, I want to hold it down.
So some of the questions we're going to ask me, these come through. I believe theatre grew out of your own cancer scheme years ago. What happened and how did you heal? I'll ask you that. What ailments can theatre heal?
Did you just say cancer skin?
Cancer scare.
Okay.
Yeah, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. It says here you've run from the media before.
I know, but that was bad. I should have just turned around and talked to him.
What? Okay. What was that?
That was my.
Oh, well, you can explain that.
Oh,
so
yeah.
they're the questions I'm going to ask. Okay,
I mean,
so straight up.
I've always been good with the media. They've always been really good to me.
What theatre miracles have you performed, or what theatre miracles are you aware of? So we'll go with that. You're on the record of saying theatre can help an amputee grow a leg back. You stand by this. So these are the questions I'm asking. No surprises there, okay? It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. I'm okay.
And boys, when you're ready, we'll... how many people have got? 1, 2, 3... I've got quite an audience.
Yeah.
You what?
Yep, ready when you are.
Okay. And is that air conditioning okay?
Yep, that's fine.
I've got...
And it's Vienna, isn't it?
Bye.
You
Vienna.
right in, yeah, if you
Sorry.
could just jump, yep,
Bye.
that's good. Down there's good, if you come up you'll be in shot. Alright, and Kate, stand by, and we are on.
Well, firstly, thank you for your time. Welcome to Australia.
Thank you.
I guess the first question is, what is theatre healing?
Theta healing is a modality that I discovered about 20 years ago. So we found out that we could hit a theta brainwave, which is a sleep brainwave, and once you hit that sleep brainwave, it's a deep meditational brainwave that we could actually witness and change a few things in our lives. So it's based on getting into that theta brainwave. It's kind of the same brainwave that people would get into when they're in really deep trance or in dream state. And in dream state, your brain kind of opens up a little bit bigger and really helps your problem-solving abilities. It's really quite a remarkable brainwave. Yogis meditate for years to get to this brainwave, and we found out how to get to it in about 30 seconds.
So is this about positive thinking?
It's very much about positive thinking and learning how our subconscious may be sabotaging us and how to change our thoughts and our patterns so that we can actually change our life.
I understand this came out of a cancer scare of your own. Can you explain it?
Well, actually, I was doing something that we would call readings. I would go in and do readings on people and kind of get impressions of different things with them, and I didn't realize it would heal people or even help people in that area until I myself had a 9-inch tumor in my femur. And according to, it was a 9-inch tumor. It had actually cracked my femur, and it was horrible. But I don't think people realize that I decided to treat it myself because I didn't have insurance. You know, in the United States, you have to have insurance to get chemo and to get radiation. And when it came to that step, I wasn't able to come up with the finances. So I decided to take what learning I had in naturopathic stuff and try to get better. And it took a long time, different cleanses, different things to get better, and I still wasn't getting better. And then I found out that this little simple technique that I was doing actually healed my leg. And I know it healed because the pain was gone, the tumor was gone, the leg was back to normal. It was it was amazing. And I was curious to see if it could happen again, so I practiced it on a couple clients. Most of the people who came to me had no idea that anything actually happened with me. They would just come to me because their aunt healed or their uncle healed, and it started this word of mouth thing, and then they just asked me to start teaching them, and I started teaching them. And then,
So what is it, how do you go from having a tumour to not having a tumour? I mean, what processes did you do? Because, I mean, that sounds like a miracle to me.
Well,
what processes did you go through in order for that tumour to go?
Well, I believe that even I changed my diet, I did lots of cleanses, I did lots of things to actually help my health. But it didn't really go until I actually practiced the technique that I've been using to go in and kind of look around people's space and bodies and see where they are. And when I practiced this technique on myself and told my leg to be well, it was like the pain was gone. And it was, after a year of suffering, it was better. And so,
now, can you understand people?
I can understand that, but
go.
I was too, because I couldn't figure out why praying this way was any different than praying the way I'd been on my knees. I'd done hypnosis, I did different cleanses, I did everything I could. And I was confused why that would work. So we built our very first, I had a physicist build us an electrocephalograph so that I could find out what was different. And we actually tracked it to going to a theta brainwave, which a lot of research had been done at that time, but not like it is now. There's so much more out there. And so we traced everyone, we trained people, we mapped out their brainwaves, and they were all going into theta. Now I have an electrocephalograph, which is much more complicated. It actually shows the brain and what energies are in the brain. It's like a 3D picture. And now I realize that my students are actually going into a theta delta brainwave. And from doing some research, I realized that theta waves, dream state, when you're dreaming, you release a lot of the growth hormone, you release serotonin, you release dopamine. I mean, you may be releasing a chemical mixture that actually triggers the brain to heal. You know, the faith in God is what makes the technique work. It's actually literally when people are reaching for that energy that they believe is God, is when their brain actually goes down to that brainwave. But chemically, something is actually physically happening in the body. So with this electrocephalograph, I've been able to work on people that have had brain injuries and actually lost one side of their brain, their left or their right side of their brain. And after working on them, that part of the brain starts back up in energy. So it's enough to get the curiosity of a couple physicists from Croatia, and it's been enough to get the attention of Japanese doctors. A neurosurgeon has started a Theta Healing Medical Association so they can gather data on the clients that they're working on, because Theta healing can be used not only to heal, but it also can be used to look inside the body, and it makes it easy for them to diagnose people. So they're using it with both their medicine and the healing attributes, and they're having a lot of fun with it because they get their little electrocephalographs, they get their little stuff together. But overall, I think that it should be putting science and religion, belief, spirituality, or maybe alternatives, they should all be working together. If the brain can be cued, and some people say it's a placebo effect. Okay. If it's a placebo effect, great. And if the illness doesn't come back, fantastic. We found that it was more complicated than that. We found that if we worked on what people believed, their bodies might heal better too.
What are some of the ailments that theatre can heal?
I believe God heals, and I watched things heal that I never thought would heal. So I had one lady that had melanoma. She came to me. She didn't believe in God. This is where I kind of get the curiosity about it, because it usually seems to be based kind of on people's basic beliefs. But she didn't believe in anything, and she came. The doctor told her she had 2 weeks to live. She had melanoma in her brain. But her neighbor, son-in-law, came and received a healing, so she thought she'd come in and try it, and it disappeared. She's actually on YouTube with her medical records, where it actually, I mean, she'll tell you the story.
Yeah, I guess a lot of people would say, okay, well, there's a lot of these claims that people have been cured. Where are the facts? Where is the scientific evidence, the medical evidence that this has happened?
Well, a lot of our students and a lot of our teachers have gathered medical evidence, and that's why we have started a Theta Healing scientific website, so that we can start actually, because we want testimonials where people say, I was healed. This is very important to me, but we want testimonials that actually have people's scientific data, and that's where the little Japanese Medical Association is coming involved. They have all their Theta doctors and nurses, and they're gathering scientific data so that they can put it out to the world, because they think it's a breakthrough in medicine. You know,
I mean,
so,
is it a breakthrough in medicine?
I just think that it's a breakthrough in our spiritual development, because Theta Healing is more than just seeing something heal. It's watching people change their attitude. It's watching them follow their dreams. It's teaching them that they can do something. It's really a positive affirmation. Japan took it and started teaching businesses on how to make their businesses grow, because of course Japanese are pretty innovative that way. And so we've allowed classes to come in to teach people how to grow and become more abundant. But overall, I know what happened to me. And I'm not going to deny it. I mean, I have a leg where I wasn't supposed to have a leg. And I know that that means something to me. And that, you know, the power of prayer and meditation has been around for a long time. You know, yoga spent a long time trying to prove that yoga helped people, you know. So I just feel like that there's something here. I would like the medical world. I mean, I do have a physicist. We had an anthropologist do a study on us because we were trying to figure out which religion healed faster or which belief system healed faster, because it could be based on beliefs, you know, what you truly believe in your mind. Your mind's pretty powerful, you know, and a lot of the doctors that I work with that work with cancer, they have spontaneous remissions all the time. They don't know why, but they know something happens in the body, chemically, something is triggered. I think we should investigate that.
Some of the top medical minds on the planet have debunked Theta's claims to heal cancer and things like AIDS, saying it defies science. What do you say to that?
Well, I think that lots of things defy science.
But is Theta saying that you can cure AIDS and cancer?
I say that, but see, what we do is we work with doctors. I mean, we work with the people come to us, we teach them the modality, they can learn it from the book, okay, and they can work on themselves and they will have improvements. Their doctor is the one who sees the improvements. We don't tell them not to go to the doctor. And I don't tell them not to take their HIV medicine if they have HIV. I just know that their attitude, the way their body feels, I mean, they know that your immune system is definitely triggered by stress. I mean, we know that your blood sugar goes up higher when you're diabetic with stress. We know that your blood pressure goes up higher. So, I mean, I think that if they debunk Theta Healing, they just have never really known what Theta Healing is about. If you open up the page, our first page of our website, it actually shows you that we have a Japanese Medical Association. These are not just debunked doctors. These are neurologists, neurosurgeons. You know, the man that actually invented the Japanese artificial heart, he's like a Theta Healing student. I mean, these people are serious doctors.
You're on the record as saying Theta can help an amputee grow a leg back. Do you stand by that?
Actually, the record was, I was at an interview, and that was twisted. Somebody said, do you believe that one day we'll be able to grow back a limb? And I believe that one day we'll be able to grow back a limb. I believe that we'll either evolve. I believe that science will evolve.
So currently, no.
I know that there are some teachers that are in Italy that is a gynecologist that worked with one of his patients that actually grew back an ovary. That's cool.
Can you say? I mean,
but he documented that. I myself, I believe that with God anything is possible. But for right now, I'm just kind of still wondering about what chemicals are going off in the brain, what is stimulating the. Because I am curious. You know, I'm looking at this electroencephalograph. I'm watching the changes on these little diagrams of the brain. You know, I had a little girl come up from Colombia that only had one side of her brain, and now she actually clinically has use of both sides of her brain. That's traumatic. That's a big deal.
You'd appreciate in Australia we call a spade. We're straight shooters. A lot of people would find the notion that you could grow back a limb or get cured from HIV or cancer as hocus pocus.
Well, I think that medical science has come a long way in the cure of cancer anyways. There's certain cancers that would have killed you years ago, and they've heard tons about it.
But this is proven medical science. This is different, is it not, to what you are doing?
I think that almost every good doctor that I know prays before they go into surgery. And I think that if they could really honestly find a connection to something on a chemical level, it would be worth investigating. I mean, we have got some pretty interesting people that are looking into this because they've witnessed it.
Can you see perhaps that some people might see this as instilling false hope into people who are terminally ill?
Well, I think that you should have, I don't know what you mean by that, because I just know how hopeless I felt when I was sick. And I think that one thing theta healing does is it actually helps you with a whole mental attitude. If it can prolong someone's life by just changing your attitude, I think that's worthy of it. I also think that I see clients, now I teach students how to teach this, and I see any sick client that when I'm at home, I see them for free. I don't instill a false hope, and I make them go to their doctor. I mean, I think that we're onto something that should be looked at. But in the meantime, I love God. I was taught to pray. You know, you're trying to tell someone who's a believer not to believe in God. That's impossible.
So is theta healing a religion or a science?
I think it can be both. And I don't think it's a religion. I think that we use other people's religion that they already believe in, and we just teach them how to get to a certain state of mind, and teach them how to look at what they believe and refocus their thoughts in their mind. Because positive thinking is pretty amazing. I mean, enough that places in the U.S. let medicine men come in and do healings on the Native Americans. It helps them.
You've run for the media before. What's to hide?
Well, I went to do a thing in Hay House, and they told me somebody was after me, chasing me, going to try to interview me, and that I should not say anything. So when they came after me on the street. They shoved me, they pushed me. They were very aggressive. The people on the street were like screaming and telling them, to leave me alone. And my husband was very upset, and he told me if I walked away, he'd leave him alone. So I walked away. But really what I wanted to do was tell him no, because they were like, you're anti-doctor, and of all the people in the world, I am not anti-doctor. I train doctors, and I like doctors. They're intelligent. They went to school for 8, 10, 12 years. That kind of information and what they can do is amazing. And I just wanted to turn and say no. But since then, I've decided to do this myself. I've had hundreds of people saying no comment, no comment. And you know what? I see that on TV. And when people say no comment, I always think, what do they have to hide? That's the first thing that goes through my mind. So I decided from here on out, I'm just going to freaking talk to whoever wants to talk to me and tell you what I think.
Okay, well, tell me what you think about this. There'll be people watching who will think, well, this is just a money grab because it is expensive to come to one of your sessions. What do you say to that?
Well, it's not a session. It's a teacher's class where I train people how to teach it and how to work on other people. So they're actually creating an income from this, and it's a very small price if you think about that.
And how much is it?
Now, I was telling them today, I charge my certain rate and the host charges their certain rate, so they may vary from country to country. So I'm not ever really quite sure exactly how much.
Could it be thousands of dollars?
I have one class that they take for 3 weeks in which we do enormous amount of training, an enormous amount of work that is a lot of money. And I usually do that like once a year, maybe twice a year. That's only if people are really getting responses and doing really well in this. This isn't you have to take all the theta classes to become this. You could take one class, you could read the book. It depends on how determined you want to go on with it. And we believe we're making a difference in the world.
For the people who are here today, what have you heard? What testimonies have you heard from them? What miracles, what cures have you heard?
Well, I've only talked to a few people here today, and so I think that you get to talk to a couple of them today. But in classes, I hear stories that are, unbelievable. But they're believable because most of those, especially Japanese, they always save their records, so you can actually say, I had this and I had this. But sometimes it's not like this gigantic physical healing. Some people come because they're depressed, or they really want to change their life and be more positive, or they want to get closer to their spirituality. They come for their own reasons. I mean, some of the greatest healings in the world is just knowing that you can pray and get listened to. I mean, to me, that's amazing. They increase their intuition, but I'm sure that we will know a lot more about theta, delta waves in the future, and the hocus pocus will be taken out of it.
Vianna, enjoy your stay in Australia. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you very
Nice
much,
to
darling.
meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Cheers. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Well, a quick two-shot. Two-shot. My hand's sweet. We'll stay there. We'll just get an edit shot. What we got, 2 shots. So both will be sitting there.
That's decent. That's what it should be.
And by the way, I would have never read if I knew they were the BBC.
It is a bad look, though. I mean,
Yes,
we
but I
experience this all
looked
the
really
time.
great that day when I saw the things. I was thinking, God, I should have turned
So
around
what's he
and
doing
talked to them.
Yeah.
But it was my instinct to say something.
Yeah, and you were probably wanting to, right?
I
Yes, you
wanted
said.
to. I wanted to just talk to him because I've always talked to him.
Yeah.
Fox
It was
TV
me.
did a
I
really
did it.
great thing.
All right.
Well,
you are
They
quite
pissed me off.
imposing, so I can imagine
They
someone.
pissed me off. I mean, they came up and they were pushing and they were shoving and
Right.
they got in her face,
It's like what they did to Lady
I mean,
Diana.
think about what that would happen. What would happen to you if they did that to your wife?
Yeah, that's right.
You know, I mean,
but on the other hand, I really wanted
Just
to
angle
talk.
the right shoulder back towards me. Thank you, that's good.
So this is an
And-
edit shot.
We're rolling.
Don't say anything silly, or just in case it'll be going to a voiceover, so you'll be able to hear it, but it's not used as a grab. It's just used as vision. So it's like Vianna is here in Australia, etc., and that's the voice that we use for that. How long are you in Australia for, and what are you hoping to do outside of this while you're here?
Well, I already went and saw your dugong, which was like totally cool to me. That was like awesome. I mean, I know that sounds simple, but I really, really liked it.
So Taronga Zoo, where have you been?
At the SeaWorld at Mystic Ocean.
Oh, right. You gotta go to Taronga Zoo here, it's in the harbour, and you'll do I'm guessing you'll have a bit of time, so you go to the Opera House, are you going to do the bridge climb over the bridge? Walk over the top of the bridge?
Oh, I thought about that. That's a pretty high bridge.
Yeah, but you're all strapped in, you're not going to...
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So there's things to do like that. There's some really lovely restaurants in Sydney that you should go to.
I know,
as
I've
well.
been to some of your restaurants. They're really amazing.
Yeah.
Cities.
Bondi Beach, Bronte Beach, they're the kind of beaches you should be going to walk along the beach and see what we've got to offer quite a lot. You happy? Overlay, I guess we've got plenty of overlay of you doing your thing online, I guess.
Yeah. A quick noddy.
No, mate. Let's go.
Right.
Thank you again,
Thanks, guys.
everyone. Cheers.
thank you very much.
You gonna talk?
Did you want testimonials?
Yes, I believe so, yeah. We do a testimonial there.
Yep.
Terrific. Well, we do that somewhere else, or?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can
cool.
do it just off the show. Or
Yeah, off the
whatever.
show.
Okay.
Can we do it here? It's
Quick,
just
'cause I'm
more
here.
private. Otherwise, you're going to get a lot of background noise and
Okay,
stuff
right.
like that.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
Shall I
it
grab
just was
Sienna?
better
Shall I
for
grab
us.
Sienna?
Yep.
You just standing up or?
Yeah, standing up is
Just
fine,
check, Teresa. Fine.
Just sit there. Back up.
Yeah, cool. So how long have you been in Crow's Nest?
That's a great question. 5, 6 years.
Yeah, right. It's funny, Crow's
Maybe a
Nest,
little
it
bit
always just ticks along.
Oh, it's a
Sort of
great
out of the
place.
way.
There's so many food options.
Yeah.
It's a really good hub. Quality people.
Like a Yorkie.
There's a lot of good people around here.
Hi,
Hello,
I'm David.
David's here.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
You're a testimonial as well, are you?
There's
Terrific. We'll
three
go
of
bang
us.
bang. All right, 3. Okay. Well, how do we do this then? One against here, one up there.
Do you want to do 3 together? Does that work
You
for
can put them on the couch over there.
Or do 2 in 1 or...
I'll probably prefer to do it separately if I
Sure,
can.
okay.
Because I might not be able to use all
Yep.
3.
I'll just do it, because it's head and shoulders, we'll
Yeah.
just get through them back up.
Yeah.
So this first
Yeah.
one, we'll just do here. I'm just going to swap a couple of lights around.
Just don't move my manuals, man.
Oh, yeah. That was all the sorting out. I'm not doing that again. Yes, I will. I'll do it again.
If I could just put this light exactly where you are.
That's a heavy box.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
I haven't heard back from Benny, but I will. I'm
Did
sure.
you, what did you say?
No, I just said thanks for the character reference. Come on, mate, you're better than that. Take care. Anyway.
I don't know whether his name was Benny. What was his
It's
name?
Ben McCormick.
Ben McCormick.
Yeah, he's Benny class.
It was all cool. It was just, I think it was a bit, because we said we'll run with you guys, and so I was thinking a bit cut by that. Really?
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Business cut.
I know. So
That's
would
it.
they air it on both shows? Like you?
Yeah, it'll go away tonight on both, yeah.
Really? Like, wouldn't you want something exclusive or not necessarily?
Nah, they'll probably say it's
So it
exclusive.
all depends on how much they want to bash, depending upon how they're going to cut it.
No, they'll definitely run. There's no question about it. They'll definitely run. Okay, let's do it.
Do you want some
Yep.
props?
What's that for? What's that going to do?
8 years ago, this is what I had because I was in that much pain I couldn't stretch it more than that.
Right.
It's for my exercises, and that's for a fine needle biopsy.
Right.
That's what they actually, the needle sits on that,
Yeah.
and they push it into your back. So it's a 5mm needle, 30 centimetres long.
Right. And
I asked for that as a souvenir.
well, we don't.
Guys, sorry, you'll all be in the shop.
Oh, I see.
What was your name again, sorry?
Mark,
Mark, just right next to that chair there, facing back towards me.
try and move those.
John, are you
That won't be
right,
true.
we
you just-
filming
Yeah, I'm just going to
this?
use the...
Are you going to film this?
I'm filming.
Oh.
Yeah. Not in person.
Just so you're right this one.
No, that's And you look at me, not the camera.
Hold on, hold on,
The
hold on.
moment you look at the camera, I can't use it.
Yeah, no,
Okay?
yeah.
Right. Good to go? Good to go?
And... Sorry, just a bit too hot. Just turn around, just so I can see the back of your head. That's good, thank you. Just a small step to your right, Mark. That's it. Oh, wait.
Just have to make sure I got the right.
Okay. And we are right.
Mark, remember to look at me. What's your surname, firstly?
Anthony.
Anthony, Mark Anthony. As in the singer.
Yeah.
But you can't sing, I take it.
No.
No, you don't know what I'm singing about.
Can't dance
Right. Your background here, I mean, how have you come to be here today?
That's a great story. 8 years ago, I was diagnosed with vertebral osteomyelitis, which is a bone infection. That all started by going to see a chiropractor who, through an over-aggressive manipulation, fractured 2 ribs and a vertebrae, and then the bones ended up getting infected. And so conventional medicine, I was going through all the doctors, the medical system, etc., and it wasn't able to help me. I found theta healing. In one consultation, half the pain in my back disappeared, and then after taking the course, I was able to go home and pick up my daughter for the first time in almost a year.
So we
Up
talk about
until that point, the neurosurgeon told me that if I pick up a shopping bag, it would collapse my spine.
brainwaves and positive thinking. Was it a case for you that the moment you started thinking in a positive way, things instantly improved?
Basically what happened with me was once I identified the emotional issues that I had not dealt with in my life, all of a sudden the pain disappeared.
Like, you know, people are watching this going, that's crazy, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm an industrial engineer by trade. I was saying it was crazy. But I've always had some sort of faith. I was brought up a Maronite Catholic. So I've always had faith in God. I've always believed in God. And I mean, you ask any Catholic out there, you ask any Christian out there whether miracles happen, and they do.
And for you, it is a miracle.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm blessed to be here today. One of the turning points in my life was walking out of hospital, and I was still sick. Like, I was very sick. I was just on antibiotics. It was just the doctor sent me home and said, let's hope for the best. Having the sun on my skin brought me to tears because it was just such a powerful moment in my life. Like, you know, because we take so much for granted. We take so much of our lives for granted. And just
But was this modern medicine curing you, or your faith and positive thinking?
well, modern medicine was doing its best, but no results were coming from the modern medicine.
But did you continue to do that, as well as thinking positively?
I basically had my healing, and that was it.
But no, but did you
Once I
continue?
was better,
Did you continue to seek treatment?
no.
So you stopped treatment, and then you started using your positive brainwaves, and you were cured.
Yeah, absolutely. I still bought the medication. I never actually took it. But the body was healed. You know your own body. When your body's healed, you know. You know when there's something wrong with your own body as well. And that was the thing. I was able to walk out and I was able to feel that there was a complete shift in my body, that the pain had disappeared. When you've had bone pain for almost a year, and then all of a sudden it's not there, you know.
That's all we need from you. You did very well. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next on the list.
Karen.
Carly?
Karen.
Karen, nice to meet you, Dave.
Karen.
You broke my hand, I reckon, if you wanted
Squash
to.
player.
Oh, really?
Very much so.
Where are we going?
Just
Spoke well.
Oh, thanks.
Like always does.
just step to your right. That's it.
You look familiar to me. We crossed paths in our life
Most probably.
before.
I've been around TV a little bit.
Have you? What have you done to?
Squash player. One of Australia's top squash players, but David Palmer, former World Open champion. I've done a few things.
I've seen. I've got a
a
familiar face.
That's maybe I'm
Just
good now.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I do.
Come back.
Can I go
Now,
over
Remo,
there? It's a
actually
bit
got,
cramped
yeah,
here.
do you want to jump over there, guys?
David.
David, sorry, David.
Remo is, as a former drummer, Remo is a drum program, yes?
Yeah, they're drums.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they're drums.
It's an electric drum kit.
No. They're like
Skins,
percussion
stereo
drums. Yeah,
Oh, right.
yeah. Buffalo hide drums. Buffalo hide.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good side.
And full name first?
Karen Ponder.
Karen, you know, Aussies are dead set skeptics.
You're looking at one of the biggest skeptics out.
So what were you cured from?
I'll give a bit of my background. I was a professional squash player. I've represented Australia at junior and senior level, and I was semi-finalist of World Open many years ago. So I've been my medical history is well documented. A steroid-dependent chronic asthmatic. I had life-threatening asthma throughout my squash career. I've had life-threatening pneumonias. I was told that I should be dead by now. And what I don't have anymore, I won't say cured, because I learned that a long time ago, you never say cure, but what I don't have anymore is bronchiectasis. Being an asthmatic and having a lot of lung damage, I was diagnosed with bronchiectasis in 2003 after a very, 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 very bad case of pneumonia, which I was lucky to survive from. So I had an X-ray and it showed up a small patch in my left lobe. And then last year I was suffering from really bad back pain. And I've been doing theatre for about 4 years. And I went into hospital with some back pain, some musculoskeletal problems. The doctors didn't know what was happening. I had infectious disease experts, I had cancer specialists, I had every doctor you could name come and look at me to find out what was wrong. So I did a full body scan, nuclear scan. The most interesting thing, I finally got out of hospital, not a problem, but I'm on my merry way. But what did show up was that there was no bronchiectasis. Bronchiectasis is incurable. So I went to my GP, I went to my asthma specialist, and also my asthma has cleared up immensely. Now it was very well managed, but earlier this year I went back to my lung specialist, who I've been seeing for over 20 years, and he said, he gave me all the lung tests and things like that, and he looked at the scans, he went, wow. And I said, yeah, wow, is it worth it? I went, it is a miracle.
So you are a believer?
I am a believer, and I'm a squash player, and I go by results.
Squash players don't believe, or?
No, well, you know, it's measurable. You win a game, you lose a game. Right? It's not airy-fairy, but being as professional sports people, we know the power of positive thinking, we know the power of belief, And we also now know the power of visualisation, and we also know the power of faith. Any professional sports person that has achieved at world level will tell you that they've got an inner strength and an inner faith and an inner knowing, and they know their bodies well and they can read their bodies well.
So why did you need this if you already had such a positive outlook anyway?
I wasn't getting better, and it was still there, and I was still getting infections, and at the end of the day I could still do what I did, but I wanted more. I mean, I'm a squash player. I was told by a 10-time World Open champion, Karen, I'm a world champion, but I can still improve. I can still do better. That's my attitude. I just don't want to be run-of-the-mill. I want to be the best. And at the end of the day, I've never had a healthy body, ever. I've got a tumour in my femur, I've had my spine fused, I've had 2 hips replaced, I've had lots of surgeries, and I've had lots of disease. But I could achieve, but I wanted more. I want to know what it feels like to have perfect health. I want that. And so I'm always going to look for what can help me. I don't care if it's left of field, and my lung specialist always thought I was a bit, nutty because I was very left of field. But we had lots of conversations, and we're talking one of the best asthma specialists in Australia, if not the world. She's unfortunately now passed away with breast cancer. But I turned her right around into opening her eyes, or opening up her mind to the possibilities. It's not black or white, it's very grey.
How has theatre healing changed your life?
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for theatre healing, and that's through a couple of other issues as well. But I thank God that theatre healing is here, and my mother has just had a brain tumour removed from her head, and I've been doing a lot of theatre healing, and she actually has done the basic course. She's been doing a lot of theatre on herself, and a couple of the other practitioners like Mark and Teresa and a lot of other people have been doing some distant healings on her. My mother was given 3 months to live in May. She is now home. I'm her carer. She's getting better by the day. She went to her oncologist.
But people will say that's modern medicine, that's curative.
Well, I don't care if it's both, because the doctor did not expect to see her at a surgery. And my mother said to me, I'm going to beat this, and we've been doing theatre healing on her, and the cancer is still there. However long she's got to go is however she's got to go. But all I know is she's well, like I am, and I'm always going to be open to something that can help me improve my life, whether it be on a physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual level. And at the end of the day, I'm a squash player, and as I said, results speak for itself. You lose, you've got to change your tack. If you're winning, you stay on the same tack. I've found something. I've done NLP. I've done Anthony Robbins, who's one of the greatest motivational speakers in the world. Well known. He believes in the power of positive thinking. So many of them do. As I said, you talk to any professional sports person, they will tell you the same thing. And I cannot thank theatre enough, because I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for theatre, for sure.
Very good, thank you. You could sell ice to Eskimos, I think. Very good. Thanks. Couldn't get a word in.
Oh, sorry, Dave.
I felt like I was on the court with you.
Sorry, that's it. It's ingrained.
It's like I was getting beaten on the court.
Anytime, baby, anytime.
Hi.
Vianna might give you an opportunity.
Nice.
Vianna's more close.
Oh, don't make me move, guys.
You're in shock there. I'm actually shooting.
Damn.
He's comfortable.
I was just getting comfortable.
I'm getting the corner, am I? Cool.
You're going to stand here for us? Yep.
Can I sit over there, or will I be in the video?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
You can
No,
sit
I'm not going to be in the mirror?
No, because we're standing up and it's quite low there.
Okay, sweet.
That's why you got the family shot out of the way.
I just saw my children. That's all I do.
Oh,
My children.
the